What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Taurean Reloaded channel. If you are new, please be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell and have your notifications turned on to all so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Also, be sure to have your notifications turned on to all on your mobile devices as well. Also, be sure to like, comment, and share this content on your various social media platforms. So, this is a person that I have not talked about in quite some time. The name hasn't even come out of my mouth a lot of times, whether it was on here or even offline. But the person in which he murdered, his name gets floated around ever so often, especially when you think about what just happened in Akron, Ohio with Jayland Walker, considering the person that he murdered also was in Ohio as well. The person I was talking about was none other than Tamir Rice, who was murdered by this POS that you see in the picture, Timothy Loehmann. Now, we all know that he murdered Tamir Rice back in 2014. Now, fast forward to 2022, this guy is being sworn in, and most likely, well, he already has been, to be a cop in this borough in Pennsylvania called the Tioga Borough. Yes, he's going all the way to Pennsylvania. Not Ohio, because they know that it would be chaos if they put him back in Ohio. Because I'm sure everybody there already knows who Timothy Loehmann is and for what he did. So this goes back to that age-old saying we have: when they're not fired, they're transferred, and this is the perfect example of that. Now let's keep in mind, this man pulled up on Tamir Rice based on a lie, because the person who called claimed that Tamir Rice had a gun. And he was playing in the park with his sister. He and another cop pulled up, and as soon as he pulled up, he didn't even give Tamir Rice enough time to say drop whatever was in his hand. He was killed like literally on the spot. It was like literally like a drive-by right there in front of his sister in the park. This man did not go to trial. To my knowledge, he wasn't charged with anything. He didn't do any jail time. He just got quote unquote fired from his position, and has pretty much been laying low since 2014. And you really didn't hear much of him since then. Fast forward to now. Here we are with about 8 years later. And he's being sworn in to be a cop for this borough. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read the article, but I'm going to point something out to you that if I did not read the thread in which I found this on, because to be honest, I would not have known about this if I did not see it on my timeline on Twitter. Because I highly doubt this is going to get the traction that it should. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article, and then I'm going to show you something very interesting about this borough that he got hired in. New information has come out from the demonstration held in Tioga, PA Wednesday evening regarding the newly sworn in borough police officer. Tioga Borough Mayor David Wilcox, who was at the demonstration, spoke of Timothy Loehmann's employment when asked what is to come of him. I make his schedule, so I will determine the day that he's actually patrolling, Wilcox said. Like that's some sort of a punishment. Followed by a response from the crowd, so never? Basically saying so he won't be coming in. Because the thing is, people didn't forget what Timothy Loehmann did. And I'm glad the people of PA, even though this did not happen in Pennsylvania, that they know who this guy is. So as far as I'm concerned, hopefully even by him getting this position, it actually spells danger for him. It's going to be a rough road for him, and if it is so, I welcome the thought. At this point, it's not happening, Wilcox replied, resulting in applause from the group gathered around him. Wilcox believes that the town and council need to come to a peaceful resolution on this issue as soon as possible. There is no peaceful resolution. This guy murdered a 12-year-old boy based off of an assumption that he had a real gun, and didn't even give him enough time to drop the toy that was in his gun. I mean, not in his gun, in his hand. Meanwhile, you just apprehended a terrorist from Highland Park in Illinois, who murdered 6 people and wounded several others. And he was using a real gun. The police officer who shot and killed a 12-year-old boy in Cleveland almost 8 years ago has been sworn in as the Tioga Borough police officer, according to the borough mayor. Now, keep in mind how I said that, the police officer, because that's going to go into what I have to point out about this borough. Timothy Loehmann was sworn in at the July 5th, 2022 borough meeting. Mayor David Wilcox confirmed, saying to the best of his knowledge it is the same Timothy Loehmann as the one who was fired from the Cleveland Police Department after the 2014 killing. Wilcox claimed that the council did not allow him to see Loehmann's resume when they interviewed him, adding that he had nothing to do with the hiring process. Now that's real sketchy. They said that they were not allowed to look at his resume. So that means if they didn't have any knowledge of what he did because they kept him really low key, like Timothy Loehmann's name really did not get kept out there like, say, a George Zimmerman or a Jason Van Dyke or a Derek Chauvin. His name kind of popped up and then it went away. Good thing we kept Tamir Rice's name out there, but his name should have been out there just as much as the other ones that I named. Probably, if not more than Tamir Rice's, or even on the same scale. But that was their reason of trying to get him to not, to kind of not be put out there. That's why I said he didn't go to trial. He wasn't charged with anything to my knowledge. And he just basically walked away from it. The only thing that he lost was his job as a cop in Cleveland, Ohio, just to get transferred to Pennsylvania, which is literally the next state over. Like, Ohio to Pennsylvania is like a hop, skip, sprint away. As a matter of fact, if you are in Pittsburgh driving, let me make sure I got my map correct. If you're driving west, it only takes you about a good hour to get into Ohio. I know this because I had family in Pittsburgh and we went to a fair in Ohio, and it was like about an hour drive to get to the fair. So it was about less time to cross the Ohio state line. But let me go ahead and continue. Hours after the meeting, Council President Stephen Hazlitt posted a photo on Facebook saying Timothy Loehmann is your new Tioga police officer. The photo showed Loehmann getting sworn in at the meeting, which is what you see right here. Hazlitt post prompted a firestorm of controversy and criticism in the comments. 18 News reached out to Borough Council President Steve Hazlitt as well as other borough and county officials, but none of them responded. The borough office is closed for the entire week of July 3rd. Former Cleveland police officer Timothy Loehmann drew national attention in November 2014 when he shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice. Rice, who was black, had a pellet gun tucked in his waistband at the time of the shooting. Tamir Rice would have turned 20 years old on June 25th, 2022. That's scary. That's weird to think of that. Like, he would be 20 right now. He would be 20. He would be an adult if it wasn't for him. In statements provided after the shooting, Loehmann and his partner, Officer Frank Garnback, said that Loehmann had given Rice several commands to show his hands. Both officers also said they saw Rice reaching for his pellet gun, in which we know that was a lie because we all saw the footage and the time that he pulled up and the time he shot. What kind of commands did he give him? He literally shot him within like 2 seconds. How many commands can you give in 2 seconds? You can't really give any. Unless he was yelling commands from his car, which we know did not happen. Prosecutors said the two officers were the only witnesses in the vicinity of the shooting, the Associated Press wrote. So they pretty much already had it locked in that, you know, they were going to represent themselves if it ever came to that, which we know it didn't. A grand jury didn't indict Loehmann. He was later fired in 2017 for reportedly providing false information on his job application. Now look at that. He got fired not for what he did to Tamir Rice, but because he lied on his application 3 years later. In July 2021, the Ohio Supreme Court denied Loehmann's appeal to get his job back. In December 2020, the United States Justice Department said it wouldn't bring federal charges against Loehmann. And in early 2022, the Justice Department reaffirmed this decision, saying it wouldn't reopen the probe into Tamir's death. So they basically saying it's over. We're not going to go back into it. He's a free man. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show y'all something about this town. I want y'all to peep this right quick. So what you're looking at is the population for this Tioga borough that he's going to be working in. You see that number next to the 2020? That is roughly around the current population of this borough that he's in. See, I noticed two things. One, they put him in another state where they figure no one's going to really remember it. But according to what I read in this article, people are aware of who he is. So it's really nowhere he can go. Two, they put him in a small town, not a major municipality like he was when he was in Ohio, because that would bring even more heat. But it looks like it's not working here either. There's really nowhere he can go. That's the same. That's almost like if they were going to try to hire Zimmerman for something. There's nowhere he can go. You see, they wouldn't get him his job back, so he had to literally get moved to a whole nother state, literally next door, and work there. But what I also noticed is that in the article, if you didn't peep how I was reading it, they said he was hired as the police officer for this borough. The key word there is officer. They didn't say he was being hired as another officer for that borough. According to what I read on Twitter, this town is so tiny that they only have a position open for one cop to patrol that area. And guess who's going to be that one cop? If you guessed Timothy Loehmann, you would be correct. Because why would they need a big force for a population of 702? So he's going to be the only cop in that area patrolling it. Granted, he's in a very small location. He literally has to downgrade his life from where it once was. But the point of the matter is he kind of got it made for being the only person there. Or is there an underlying reason why he's the only person there? I hope it backfires on him. I hope the people of that town give him all types of hell. You want to know what's so crazy? I'm looking at the side, and they said that back in the 2010 census, the population was 666. Go figure. So while they did increase, they didn't increase much. And if you look at this, look at this. Like this town, if you look at the numbers, it never even touched 800 in the last over 10 years. The closest it came was 2017 with 781. It hasn't gone, like literally this town is just a small place. It's very, 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 very tiny. But yeah. Transferred, never fired, as you can see. And that's a statement that we have been saying for quite some time. But I'm glad that the people out there seem to know who Timothy Loehmann is, and I hope that they make sure that they give him all types of hell. I hope they run him out of that town. Sort of like that story I did on that black woman who was in Georgia, and they ran her out of 2 towns because allegedly she was going to come down there and corrupt the minds of the kids and try to put them onto CRT. I hope they do the same thing with him. All right, y'all. So this is a couple days later after me recording the first part of this video. I actually had to go back and cut the last part out of it to insert this part in here. So this is a major update. Posted July 7, 2022. It says officer who fatally shot Tamir Rice sworn in and resigned from new law enforcement position in the same week. I'm telling y'all, the pull-up season is real. See, the thing is, like I mentioned in my other video, in the earlier part of this video, they want us to forget Timothy Loehmann. They know we're not going to forget Tamir Rice, but they want us to forget Timothy Loehmann because it's like his name doesn't stick out, like I said, like a Derek Chauvin or, you know, people like him, or his name stayed floating in the news, like I said, because he didn't go to trial. He was never charged. He was never indicted. So it was never they never made it a big deal. But the people did not forget. It's even those in other states. As you can see right here, this was in Pennsylvania. Like I said, the pull-up season is real. I guess it's to the point where, sorry about that ad popping up. It's gotten to the point where, you know, if black people aren't going to get a hate crime bill, then we're just going to have to do it the old fashioned way. As you can see, as of late, we had pull-up season happen with this. We've had pull-up season definitely happen with Carolyn Bryant. And people are going everywhere and anywhere to try and find her. I mean, they went from her house to, I guess, like a facility, a possible nursing home she could be at. Like, they're literally looking for her. Ever since they got that warrant, that they could have a warrant for her arrest, ever since they found it, people have been on the hunt looking for her, and she is the prey, and rightfully so. And there's going to be many more pull-ups to come. Trust and believe. It's gotten to that point. They're like, if you're not going to listen to us, if you're not going to give us a hate crime bill, or more importantly, you're not going to give us tangibles or when we demand it, then we're going to do what we have to do. Simple as that.